Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Principal's Report for the September 22nd, 2020 PTA meeting. This is Ms. Davis, Kate Davis, coming to you virtually through a recording. So as you can see in front of me, I'm going to share our Principal's Report and a couple additional documents that are really important for all parents to be aware of. So first, an update on digital learning. As families are well aware, we are using Google Classroom as the learning platform for all online schooling. So for right now, if you have a child in kindergarten through 5th grade, you will know that all of our separate subject areas have been condensed into one virtual classroom. We've done a lot of work behind the scenes to make it as streamlined as possible so that nobody feels like they're searching for the right classroom or link. If your child is in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, you will have a different Google Classroom for each subject area, and that's because each subject area is taught by a different teacher. So if you're ever having any challenges with Google Classroom or any questions about how to navigate, you can definitely reach out to your child's teacher for assistance. All teachers have been using a combination of Google Meets as well as Zoom as the platform for hosting live synchronous instruction. So over the course of the next week and by October 1st, after the long weekend, all teachers at C.W. Henry School are going to transition to using Zoom as the video platform for live instruction. So if you have a class if your child is in a class right now that's currently using Google Meets, the teacher will be communicating with you in the upcoming days around this upcoming transition. And the reason for the transition and why we're making the switch across the whole school is because Zoom now has accounts that are owned by the School District of Philadelphia that have additional security measures in place that quite honestly are a safer and more secure online platform for all of our kids. This platform was not as secure and safe in the spring, which is why we used Google Meets, but the school district has made some improvements that are really important and really crucial for us, so we will be making that transition. It's also important to know that this year, as students are in virtual schooling, we have de-emphasized homework. So the only homework that our youngest students from kindergarten to 5th grade will have on a daily basis would be any unfinished assignment across the week. So it is really important that as your child is completing work, we know that we absolutely can never have a one-size-fits-all approach. So if the workload balance is just not right for you and your family, please make sure that you are proactively letting your child's teacher know so that they can talk about flexibility in terms of deadlines, flexibility in terms of ways assignments are or are not turned in, etc. So it's important to know, and this is the third bullet point under digital learning, that teachers are just beginning to assess students using virtual assessment platforms, and they are just beginning now across the last week or so to begin assigning grades. So we use what is called a very important document that's called the Marking Guidelines. It's a guidance document that's shared by the School District of Philadelphia, and if you go to philasd.org and type in Marking Guidelines into the search engine, you'll see 3 different documents for different grade bands. So these are the guidance documents we use as we are assigning and grading students across the school year. So please expect your children to be receiving grades in all of the subject areas listed, and know that we are doing really important work behind the scenes to make sure that we are being fair and equitable and flexible as we assign grades to students, knowing that we are in a virtual world that is unfamiliar for most of us. So I encourage all families to continuously check on their child's gradebook using the School District of Philadelphia's parent portal. If you have not activated your account on the parent portal already, there is a stepper uploaded onto our Henry website at henry.philasd.org underneath the parent button on the top menu that can walk you through how you can set up your parent portal so that you have access to important information around your child's grades, around their attendance, and so on. So that final bullet point under digital learning is just a final push and a reminder that we really value your partnership, and we really value your feedback and input as we're designing the digital learning experience. So we try as a CW Henry staff to be as proactive as possible, while also recognizing that there's no way we can think of everything or solve every problem before it occurs. So if something is not working out right for your family or the fit feels off, please make sure that you're reaching out to me as well as your child's teacher. So moving on, the second bullet is to remind everybody that we have our very first virtual back to school night happening tomorrow, September 23rd from 5 to 7. So earlier today, I sent out information through Remind and a school-wide email in a letter that looks like this. If you do not receive my Remind messages or my emails when I send to the entire school, please send me an email directly to kdavis4@philasd.org so that I can add your information to these important platforms. So hopefully you received this letter, and in the middle is a link that when you click it, it takes you to this spreadsheet. So tomorrow on Wednesday, September 23rd, all of these names in blue are hyperlinks that will take you to a separate Zoom meeting for every teacher at CW Henry School. So we have a rotation schedule, as you can see here on the left-hand side, where there's roughly 20 minutes to visit each of these virtual presentations. I'm going to begin the meeting tomorrow with a pre-recorded welcome message that will be uploaded by 5 o'clock. You'll be able to click the link and it's going to walk you through how to use this document as well as some additional important updates for our school for this year. And then finally, from 6:30 to 7, you can choose to stay on with your child's classroom teacher and talk to them, but also please know that I will be hosting a fall Title I presentation from 6:30 to 7, where I'm going to be sharing some important information about our 2020-2021 fall Title I programming, as well as our Title I budget for the year. An important thing to point out on this spreadsheet as well is that Mr. Brogan, our school counselor, is going to be hosting a session on high school selection from 6:05 to 6:25 p.m. tomorrow. So if you are the parent of an upper school student, please make sure that you visit the teachers using these two links above, but then know we've safeguarded a time when Mr. Brogan is going to be sharing information about the application process. So going back to our virtual principals update, the last update that I want to share with everyone is around school selection. So school selection is the annual process when families who live outside of the CW Henry boundaries and catchment area can apply for admission for the upcoming school year. So this school selection portal opened online last Friday on September the 18th, and it is going to remain open until November 6th, 2020. So if you are the parent of a rising kindergartner for the 2021-2022 school year, you would like to apply to CW Henry School, it is crucial that you apply through school selection. So I put the hyperlink right here. It is the student placement office through the School District of Philadelphia. And you can click on that link or go to the philasd.org, type in school selection or type in student placement, and they have a whole information page that can share additional information for you. Okay, so finally in our principal report, I just want to review what our budget is looking like currently as of the end of September 2020. So in this table, you will see two categories, and I'm going to review some of this information in greater detail tomorrow. So the top 4 rows show our Title I budget for the school year, and then the bottom 4 rows show what's called our operating or our more generalized budget for the school year. So we've made a couple purchases so far. As you can see up at the top, that we had budgeted almost $19,000 in order to purchase our school-wide license for iReady. We made that purchase in the end of August, and so all of those funds have been obligated, leaving a $0 balance in this Title I budget line. Each year, we also have money that is budgeted for our Arts and Humanities department, and the way that it works is every school in the school district of Philadelphia receives these funds, and we were allocated $10 per student. So our approximated enrollment for this school year was 526 students, which led to $5,260 allocated for our Arts and Humanities department. That is money that is shared equally by Mrs. Paulino, one of our music teachers, Mr. Conrad, another teacher in our music department, as well as Ms. Johnson, our art teacher. They have not spent any of the money yet, so we still have over $5,000 designated specifically to supplement their programs. Additionally, a number of our teachers at Henry participate in a program that was previously associated with LaSalle University that's called Writers Matter. So this is a supplemental writing curriculum that helps our teachers bring real-life experiences to our students in the areas of writing. So we have a little bit over $700 allocated for our staff to participate in after-school professional development across the school year. None of this money has been spent yet, but it will be spent throughout the duration of this year. And then finally, looking at the bottom three lines, we began the year with a little bit over $19,000 allocated for what is just our general operating budget. So we've spent $4,181 so far this year. That goes towards the purchase of laptops for 2 of our new teachers at Henry, as well as the purchase of a school-wide license for mystery science. Any additional obligated money in this budget area can be spent generally. So usually this is the place where we take money to buy paper, we take money to buy materials for classrooms. If we need to buy any furniture or general materials, it would come out of this budget line. And then finally, the last 2 budget lines you see on this table refer to the part-time salary for our student climate staff, as well as the money allocated for teachers to run extracurricular clubs across the school year. So you can see for both of those lines, we have not spent any money in these areas so far this year. We are holding off currently for extracurriculars, at least for the next month, to see what is going to be happening with school, if we're going to continue with a virtual model or if we're going to pivot to a hybrid or an in-person model. But all of that to say is that we will definitely have clubs this school year, and there is over almost $7,000 allocated to pay teachers to run clubs. We just have not started yet. So I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to this presentation. And if you have any questions about any of this information, please pass them along to any member of the PTA so I can get answers your way. I also hope to see everybody tomorrow at our back to school night. And if you have any questions about any of this information, I will be available at that time as well. Have a wonderful night, everybody.